cross state lines with hillbillies and guns. It's been a hell of a ride and a whole lot of fun. They gave me many names down there in Dixie, but the main one that stuck on me was whiskey.
And welcome to another episode of the Bourbon Ballistics podcast, the show where we talk a little about whiskey, a little about firearms, and a whole lot of everything in between. I'm your host, Joel Potter, and invite you to sit back, relax, pour yourself a glass as we talk some bourbon and ballistics. Sometimes business starts with a simple question. You ask yourself, what's next? Wylie McDade, that question came after 25 years of service in the U.S. Navy. After a career defined hardship, entrepreneurship, you got to travel around the world, returned home and decided to take a completely different avenue.
Yes, I did.
How are you doing, sir?
Hey, I'm doing great, man. Thanks for the nice introduction. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, after 24 years in the Navy, me and my brother were always talking. I'd come home on leave, and we'd always be talking about opening a business, and we always seem to have a glass of whiskey in our hand. We say, hey, why don't we try making this?
There you go.
It's going good. It's going really good so far. Yeah, go ahead.
So I was going to say, so you guys are out in West Virginia?
Yes. Eastern Panhandle, about as far as you can get in Eastern West Virginia.
Okay. So I found you guys, I had Brian Bailey on the show, and he had just recently been up to visit you guys from Golf Cask. And so he told me before we started recording, we'd talked about the experience you guys give the customers when they come in to see you guys. And that's exactly what he portrayed when I talked to you. So I knew right away that I wanted to reach out to you and try to get you on the show. So a little bit of back and forth communication with your social media manager, and here we are. So I want to say thank you for taking the time to come out and hang out with me for a little bit. So I want to get in and kind of talk about your story because, first of all, being a veteran, I mean that one of my favorite things about having a podcast is when I get the opportunity to spend some time with some veterans that have actually been out there and heed the call and went out and put years of service in. So I want to say, first of all, thank you for your service.
No, thank you.
On Fridays, it is, remember everyone deployed. We wear red here on the show. And, especially with everything that's going on right now, I think it's important to really reach out and thank those people that went out there and are willing to risk it all for this country. So with that, let's get into your background.
God bless them right now.
Yes,
I know.
Sir. Absolutely.
I still know a lot of guys and gals that are out there right now in the Navy.
Yeah. Let's talk about, first of all, so you and your brother, you guys decided to go down this crazy rabbit hole, but let's talk about how you got here. I do, like I said, I want to talk about your 25 years with the Navy. At what point did you really start thinking about getting into the military? What was that? What triggered that for you?
You got a lot of military guys that watch your podcast. If so, they'll know the ones that went the whole 9 yards will know that they always say look for your exit ramp. Mm-hmm. And me and Uncle Sam, we left on great terms. I saw my exit ramp, and after 25 years of service, hey, look, I did my government service. There's I'm not far from D.C. There's a cushy, very high-end defense contracting job right over the hill. But I always said all roads lead to a padded cubicle. And let me tell you, that's not somewhere that I wanted to be. That's good for some people. We want to make some with our hands. My brother and I were always talking about, we enjoy craftsmanship. We love the area. We chose this little spot in West Virginia. It's surrounded by amazing national parks. Get a lot of visitors that come here. It's a good place to plant some roots, put down a distillery. And once you do that, you start writing your story, now we're connected up with 5 farms, a couple of orchards, 3-4 apiaries. And those were the kind of things we were talking about when we were starting a business back when I was still in the military. We built a little 5-gallon pot still, just to see if what would come out the other end would be something we'd be interested in. And When it comes off the other end of the still, that's the easy part. Yeah, here in the barrel room, yeah, it's like watching paint dry aging whiskey. That doesn't mean it's not the most important part of the whole thing. So we had to learn a lot of those things. We met a lot of great people in the industry. Even when I was in the military, we were. And we found that we aligned with a lot of them. Like there's a lot of, you know, duos like Brian and I out on the market. There's a lot of distilleries. You'll see that's a pretty common format out there. I said, well, see a lot of guys like this. We started to get serious. We started actually looking at doing it, and then we started getting linked up on more of a commercial setting with, with other distilleries where we were having serious conversations with them. Hey, look, guys, especially you military guys, especially the retired ones who like, maybe you can go out and actually do this because you're not going to get paid for a long time. But right. We were ready to start spending some money. And when you're starting ready to start putting skin in the game, people start having different conversations with you. And it takes a long time, but we were going out looking to see actually how to build a small distillery. And we start to have those conversations. So by the time I retired in 2019, we were open April 21. I retired October 2019. You want to talk about a fast-paced schedule?
Yeah.
Opening in the middle of COVID.
Yeah.
Granted, we were on the tail end. We didn't get that hand sanitizer deal. We were too late for that. But I'll tell you, they were all wearing masks when they started coming in the door in the beginning. That was wild. Yeah. You know what we do, man? I'll tell you a good story. We had whiskey running off the still. We give really good tours. If you open a distillery, give a great tour and make it always available. And I'd bring all those people over there around. It was kind of late in COVID. Things were calming down a little bit. I said, all right, everybody, some whiskey coming off the still. I said, I want you all to pull your mask down and dip your finger in there together and taste it. And you should have seen the looks on their faces. Like, look, ain't nobody asked me to do that in like 18 months. But the result was amazing. Like, hey, I look at them, I say, hey, look, we could all dip our finger in the bucket. Like, this is your hand sanitizer. Your hand sanitizer smells like corn whiskey. That's right. And the looks on their face, and like everybody pull, real quick, pull it down, take a taste, but the smiles. And so we were starting to like see people, and I'm like, man, I know this is a business for me. Like, it's fun. We like to talk to people. Me and Brian, once we got it launched, we fell in love with it. Like, it's just a fun industry to be in. I tell all your guys out there, think about the craft beverage industry. Like, there's room, and it's if you build it, they'll show up.
Yeah.
And we get, I'm telling you, 75% of the people who come through my door aren't from around here, which is really good because we're getting the word out. But it's a lot of tour. Yeah, we're pretty deep into tourism around here. But man, me and the military guy sniff each other out in about, if I'm running it up there, about 45 seconds it takes. And then, is this a family show?
Yeah. I mean, we got,
and then the BSing starts. They're all, Well, you come in here on Saturday, bring your hip waders. The bullshit that goes on up front can get pretty deep. It's just, we roll right into it with people, and boys, if you're interested in it, you will be so surprised how you start talking to people and you can immediately find something in common. Yeah. Mostly because all the military guys, like, they've been around. Like, they travel around, having that military education of seeing the world made us be able to be really, really able to communicate easily with people because, we get people in from other side of the world sometimes and sure. Hey, maybe I've been there. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. We always find something in common with people around here, and that's really look, man, that's what bourbon does. Brings people together.
And that's one of my favorite things about it. Whiskey's not whiskey until it's shared. And I think that's one of the biggest things that people, once you start getting into the whiskey, you realize how cool. Regardless of the side of the aisle you're on, just religion's thrown out the window. You could have some really meaningful conversations when you sit there. And you breathe, you let that spirit breathe. And I think that's one of my favorite things about it. Me being fairly new into it, I really started starting to collect. Only been a few years, but
Yeah.
the conversations that come with those bottles, I think, is one of the greatest things.
I've met some of the most amazing people in the world. You never know who's going to walk you through your door. And you know why we decided to put, I always said this to my brother, we're going to put a B on the bottle, right? We're going to make bourbon. It's got to have a B on the bottle because, like, you think, well, you got like all the big ones, bourbon, tequila, gin, scotch, rum, the real mainstays. We got to make one of those. And I mean, come on, we're in America, like bourbon. We put bourbon on the bottle because that's been a mainstay of this country. Well, hey, we're rolling in at 250 this year. You know what I mean? It's been a mainstay of the country since before that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little tiffed with the Canadians right now.
Sure.
We've been doing bourbon business with you for 250 years, and you cleared our shelf over some little tiff. Come on, man.
Yep.
But that's all right. They make great rye whiskey up there. The tradition. Devil's Due Distillery sits right on the Mason-Dixon line. And that, back in the day, was the place where you could grow corn, rye, wheat, and barley, all in the same place. Because when you went north, well, that's when the rye whiskeys start to roll in. And when you went south, that's when the corn whiskeys start to roll in. That's where the traditions all kind of come from. Nobody ever wrote it down,
Makes sense, though.
I see. I was looking. You have a very impressive Kentucky whiskey collection that back there. You know what's between me and Louisville?
Huh.
All of Appalachia.
I gotcha.
Right. So back in the day, I mean, come on. You think the AT is hard? Walk from here to Louisville. You're going to go up bigger mountains than you will on the Appalachia. It might be a shorter trail, but in the 1780s and 1790s, you'd be lucky to get there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just the way bourbon came into this country. I've heard so many stories and legends of how bourbon came to be. I haven't heard. Here's the people down in New Orleans that named bourbon because like that whiskey had to get to them on the Mississippi and float down there. Hey, think about Jefferson's Oceans. Sure. They charge a lot extra for that putting on a ship. Uh-huh. Imagine sitting on the Mississippi for all those months and months and months in the hot sun. That stuff started to taste good by the time it got down there.
I bet, yeah.
But nobody ever wrote it down. Or if they did, I'd love you to send me the story because I can't seem to find it, man. I've been looking for a long time. Where did bourbon come from? But it's so tightly ingrained into America.
Sure.
And we knew that we wanted to be part of that because, when you're thinking about starting a business, like you want success, the business. The bad part about opening a small business is all roads lead to money. The distillery must make money, or there's no distillery, and that's the thing that's always in your mind. And how are you going to make it through? Because bourbon's gone, man. It's been beat up, battered, spit out, kicked around, banned. It's had a hard history, but it endures, man. You know what I mean? And so that was the allure. That was the story we wanted to tell. Yeah, in my particular segment of the market, like if you had to look up what does agro-tourism look like, I could actually legitimately be the poster child for it. You know what I mean? When we bring people in, if I showed you over there where we're a pretty small place, but just right over there, well, that's where the super sacks of grain are. I got yellow corn over there from the local dairy. That's the Blues. I know the whole family. Hell, our kids are in FFA together. You know what I mean? Like we go to the barbecues together. They have a long family history here in the county. They got a dairy, but man, he's got more yellow corn than you can shake a stick at. I could never distill it all. One day maybe I'll be able to distill it all. He can get out of dairy business. But he's our mainstay, right? But I got a super sack of blue corn over there too. That was custom grown for us by a place called Golden Rule Farm. They just won some big accolades for specialty grain grower in West Virginia, and we commissioned them to run blue corn. And the story I always tell is, look, all bourbon's made from yellow corn. Almost all the bourbon back there behind you, right? They don't plant blue corn so much anymore because the crop yields on yellow corn just blow it up so much. Why would I want to plant it for regular commercial uses? So And but a lot of those guys behind you, they're looking like me, like they're looking for those little niche things. And I always tell people, I say, when we're drinking blue corn whiskey, that's what whiskey used to taste like. Because the heirloom grains, we do Amanda Palmer, Wapsie Valley. I got a Jimmy Red being grown for me right now. And don't even get me started on the rye varietals and the wheat varietals. We're really starting to dig into some of those and have some custom stuff grown for that too. And we'll make, because, my motto is, I can't be better. Man, them boys down in Kentucky, some of the big ones, they've been making it since before the country started.
Sure.
But we can be different. We can make it like it used to be, some of it. We can make it in the commercial fashion, some of it. And when you come here, if you want consistency between barrels, you can run down to the local liquor store and get that all day. That is a master class in itself, to be able to make whiskey that tastes the same in Louisville as it does in Tokyo, as it does in New York. That's incredible.
Yeah.
I can't be that. So we focus on our strengths, right? Like, we make unique whiskeys here. And we make them all. I would, if you could see my entire label set, we probably release more labels than most distilleries on the East Coast at this point. We always something new. We make every kind of bourbon there is. Wheated bourbon, wheat whiskey. I got several different mash bills back there of it. Rye whiskey, several different ways. A select bourbon that's that high corn, low rye mash bill. And then our high rye bourbon where we bump it up to 18%. I got a 4 grain that every time we make a couple barrels, we tear up the mash bill and re-roll the 4 grains again on how they're going to go in. It's always going to be bourbon, right? There's always going to be 51. I think right now I'm running a 61 and like a 74. But the wheat and the rye components are always changed. Sometimes we malt one. Always a good load of malt in there. My signature bourbon that we sell out in the liquor stores, now that's got a 20% malt load on it, which is heavy, right? Yeah. I've heard you taste the malt in our bourbon. And that, I've really staked my whole business on that particular product because it's in about 400 stores, is that it tastes a little bit different, But what we're trying to deliver is that craft experience. Because craft whiskey tastes different from the big guys.
Sure.
And, they dip their toe in that every once in a while, and you see some spectaculars come out. Yeah, one day, maybe my son will get there. It's me, my brother. Of course, both of our oldest sons are here. We got a couple more. I'm fishing for them, trying to get them hooked. Hey, you're a ballistics guy. We're big we're fishermen. Okay. I know some things we don't have necessarily in common on that part, but we love trout fishing. We love saltwater fishing. We go down there a lot. Although you come and talk to my kid brother, he's got his own kind of small guide service, and they'll go out snakeheading, and he bow fishes for those, and that's pretty wild. Oh, you can pictures, man. Those things are gnarly looking. They're up in the Potomac. Yeah. Hey, stay out of the Potomac River, boys. It's there's a big shit sickle in DC right now. It's going to be 81 on Tuesday, and that son of a bitch is going to start melting. And when it does, they're going to smell it from one end of DC to the other. Like it's stay out of the Potomac. We're up here, we're on the Potomac, but we're upstream anyway. Thank goodness.
Okay.
Yeah, that smell be bad for business.
This, Wylie, so you get your start in 2019 and really getting, starting to produce by 2021. I mean, you went through the whole COVID thing, and I think I want to talk about some of the things that those hard lessons that you had to learn once you decided this is the path you're going to take. And especially because of COVID, like how did you, this probably made you, I would assume, come out of the gates even harder than you would have prior to this all happening.
Yeah. We got tell you what, when we came out the gate, we had amazing community support. And we really try and have deep ties with the community. But as we were building, if you're talking about even going back before that, I can tell you it's going to take twice as long and cost 4 times as much. Sure. You're just not going to be able to check off you're not going to you're not going to be able to plan for every contingency. Sure. But you can. That's the good thing about it is you start small and you grow into it. You have to. Brand building is holy cow. Like I had a lot to learn. How do you build a brand? I mean, I'm looking at some of the bottles behind you, and all I have to do is flash my eyes at the bottle shape. I know exactly who that is.
Isn't that something?
Is that hard to do? Mm-hmm. I'm always screaming exposure, exposure, exposure. And so you have to kind of transcend that, and somebody's got to become that guy that comes out and does the podcast and does the marketing and this and that. And we built a really, really strong team here to do that, but that was one of the other huge ones. And of course, these barrels, they can never leave the distillery under some very certain conditions. That's a transfer and bond market. But let me tell you, people make fortunes in that market.
Oh, I could imagine.
Completely untaxed. Mm-hmm. It's a wild market. It has to leave in the bottle, and that's when you've got to start getting in with the Fed and the state and understanding the regulations. And I run a lot of compliance around here, and I mean, it'd make your head spin. You got to be willing to learn that. If you're going to go into, I mean, hell, I still work for Uncle Sam. I'm in a federally bonded warehouse. Every single month, I have a certain excise tax that I've got to pay, and I have to report to the federal government exactly what every grain in, every drop out. We got to calculate every single thing, and so there's a little bit of math that's going to go into it. Some guys pay a lot of money. My brother's a genius. He's developed. He knows how to develop software. It's really good to have somebody like that on your team. Somebody who can, and you start out with spreadsheets, because if you can do that, you can figure it out. Because what I always told him, I said, look, I pay the taxes every month. I need 12, maybe 14 magic numbers, and they got to be tight every single month. Because if they're not, I report to the TTB. But guess what? They're enforcers. They're called the ATF, and you don't want the enforcers showing up. Oh man, them boys have been around for a long. Well, no, and so you want to make sure you feed the bear over there, and you give the bear exactly what it wants, and then you're square. You got to be square. Make sure you're square with the Fed and the state, because the product you're producing is one of the most. I mean, come on, gasoline producers. I know how you're feeling. You know what I mean? Like, I know what they're paying at the pump, and what it should be costing. You can look across the United States and see that. Same with bourbon. Every single state has an ABC, and that came from Prohibition, because before Prohibition, nobody could agree, and the federal government refused to regulate. And after Prohibition, the state ABCs were set up, and the Fed agreed to regulate. Guess who's having that problem right now? The marijuana industry.
Oh yeah.
And I'm looking at them going, y'all better play your cards right, because that they banned us over this exact same thing that's now happening to you. And if they don't all get on board, it's chaos. You know what I mean? And so making alcohol in that kind of rule box where everybody plays by the same rules is really good. The federal government giving craft distillers tax advantage, excise tax advantage. That is something that I do. Hey, you want to open a craft distillery? Prepare to become a lobbyist. And I lobby in D.C. and I lobby in Charleston. You got to do it. You have to. Bourbon. Come on, man. Bourbon is politics. Hell, it's the essence of politics. It's what politics runs on. You know what I mean? But you gotta, those laws, there are so many of them, and you've got to fit inside of that, and you got to play by the rules. And if you can do all those things in this pay-to-play industry, man, we might have a shot at going from a micro distillery to a small distillery one day. Yeah. And that'll solve a lot of problems in my world.
Let's talk about you get that first barrel, right? And you get to finally, after all this time, taste
I remember
the thing that you've produced. What is that experience like? Tell me about that.
It was amazing. It was rough. I always looked at Brian and said, "Hey, man, we have to make a product that tastes like bourbon now." You know, I've been to places and I didn't think their bourbon tastes like bourbon.
Yeah.
You know, I've been to a lot of places, and I've been to ones where they're nailing it, right? We started in a 15-gallon barrel. Yeah, we sold, I don't even have a bottle of the first barrel. We were able to, it's, easy to sell a 15-gallon barrel. You can do it pretty rapidly, and there was a lot of expectation. And so that one rolled out the door quite nicely. It was a corn bourbon. It was corn and malt. It was our very first release. There wasn't even a rye component in it yet because, I run a corn and malt recipe on all kinds of stuff. A lot of heirlooms I run it. It makes for a really sweet bourbon with a lovely malt finish. And it's kind of like pure, it's almost like a single grain. We only put we run a 93.7. We only put like 7% malt into it.
Wow.
And so it has a lot of corn forward flavor in it. It's got, hey, look, it's what it lacks across the palate, it makes up in the finish. There's the rye or the wheat components aren't there, but for what it is, I think it's a really beautiful expression. So much so that we do it we release one quite often because it's pretty popular.
Oh.
But to release that first barrel out of the 15-gallon barrel to a little over 2 years, it was a straight bourbon. Age 2 years and under, you're a straight bourbon. Age 4 years and under, you can apply for the bond, but I like to say you're at the bonded bourbon level, it done in the same house. The rules are all out there. We're going to do a bottled and bond. I've got to apply for all those things from the government here soon. That's going to come out probably next year.
Okay.
And that'll be pushing 5 years. But to get those first ones out in the 15, we called that the age of exploration,
Yeah.
the learning, the understanding. They came out. They came out lovely for exactly what they were. And then we learned lessons on those. And then as we got farther into the 15s, they started to inform the 53s over here. And now we don't even sell 15s anymore. We've moved on. And now these 53s, they're going to inform us of where we need to go as we grow and maybe try and stand on our own 2 feet in commercial distribution. Because the 15 or 20 mash bills I even have in the 53s, once we get the big, I just finished paying for an 800-gallon still. I run a 150, takes me a whole week to make a 53-gallon barrel, and we'll move into a situation where we can make 3 barrels a day. And the rick house will start to grow. Distilleries are judged by the size of their rick house in some circles. And you can take that to the bank.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And we'll start to lay down commercial whiskey. In other words, we'll just start making more volumes of far less mash bills, and then have some preparations to make a run at at least a regional distribution market. We're laying the groundwork for that right now, because we're going to need a lot of stores out there to liquidate that much amount of product.
Yeah.
Brand building, boys. You got to, they got to know you exist.
Yep, that's right. Do you remember the first time that like everybody that's actually working there with you, you guys probably, you get to taste it and then you go, okay, it's time to share this. Do you remember the first people that you actually shared it with outside of the distillery?
Oh, look, I told you like 75% of our clientele are vacationers and tourists. 25%, maybe right around there. It's a good rule of thumb. They're local. Inside that circle, there's a core of people who, we have grown to become pretty good clients. We're the maker, and they are very, very good clients. We got some high end guys, and if you get to know us, we'll take you back and let you taste that thing that maybe we're releasing. You know what I mean? And from some of those people, they know the bourbons. I know a lot of people who they travel down to Kentucky on the regular, and maybe they got a Weller jacket. You know how to get a Weller jacket? You got to spend a lot of money with Weller.
I would imagine that's how. Yeah, that would be a good starting point.
A tremendous sum. Yeah. And so, I mean, you get speaking to some of them, and those are your patrons. They're the consumers, and they know what they're. I mean, it's all about tickling your taste buds, right? Making your nose light up so that somewhere in the back of your head, the happy button goes off, and you go, man, I connect with this. I like that. I always tell everybody, bourbon's a bullshit story. But if you like ours, the whiskey's pretty good. You know what I mean? And so those were some of the first people that tried it. And, we did the bottling. Of course, I made sure some of my distiller friends, I was very proud of it, gave them a bottle. They were very nice. And then we grew from there. And now we've finally gotten to that point where you can come down here. These barrels back here now are, man, they're not bourbon. They're our signature. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's where that term signature comes from. The signature bourbon. They're what we want to show to the bourbon community. Hey, these are the fruits of our hard work. This is where, if you guys like us and want to follow us, this is where we could go. And when we expand, these are some of the flavors we're going to start introducing to the wider markets for you guys to enjoy. Because, man, do I love a bourbon collector. Oh, I'm telling you, like, hey, I'm here for you. You know what I mean? Like, we are designed for bourbon collectors. If you guys want to collect some unique stuff, we haven't even started talking about the amazing things that label art and how important label is so important, and the themes behind it and all those things that go with it can make amazing collector's items. Yep. And I'll tell you what, people love that. I mean, it's fun, You can collect anything in this country.
Right.
I know
there's somebody that wants it. Yeah.
I know guys with whiskey hoards. Now, you've seen some nice whiskey collections, but if you've ever seen a whiskey hoard before, it's impressive. They can be worth hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Oh.
And there are guys out there that are collecting bottles from a lot of those places behind, the really unique stuff. I want to find I found my way on a couple of those shelves. They're squirreled away in secret places. That's the allure, the smoke, and mirrors in the bourbon industry. You know what I mean? You go down to. I mean, have you ever explored and really understood the secondary markets that are allowed in some states?
Of course, yeah. I mean, I try not to deal with that at all. But I mean, I did. As far as the collectors go, and finding that special bottle, I've looked into it.
You know how much money is turning in those markets?
No.
Oh boy,
I don't even want to know.
You don't. It's I mean, think of it. Something that was made in 1947, and Granddad had a whiskey hoard, and he bought 10,000 of them. Oh, by the way, they don't exist anymore. They're not even sold anymore. They were made in 1947, and you go down to your granddad's basement, and there's 10,000 or I don't know, 500. I mean, like, what some of those are worth? Never made again. I don't know. It's an amazing world in bourbon out there.
That's
it's amazing.
One of the hardest things, I think, is when you find this bottle, and if and if it's not commercially produced, and that flavor profile is varying every single bottle you get, you find that one bottle that you absolutely love, and then to see like it just keep going down, and eventually it's going to be gone. It's one of the saddest stories I've ever told. It's hard because you kind of fall in love with it. It has a special spot in your heart.
There are levels for bourbon for every single type of person in the United States. Like, hey, look, there's rich guys out there. Rich guys can drink really expensive bourbon, and the options to them are pretty amazing. But, regular guys can drink some pretty great bourbons down the shelf too. We try and pigeonhole ourselves in the middle, and that's where we've kind of landed. As we're trying to move up, all of us, well, I won't say that, but a lot of us are in that category where we're trying to slowly move up that shelf. You got to start somewhere, though.
Sure.
But there are companies out there that are making tremendous sums of money moving down, because guess what? Those people like whiskey too. They like good whiskey, and you're seeing some pretty good bourbons out there. You know, the country's in a whiskey glut right now. Hell, the whole world is. I have access to some amazing whiskeys out there on the market for very low cost if I want to go find them, and they're being done right now, and there are amazing things. I think what it's going to do is it's going to create some really amazing bourbons on the market.
I think you're right.
Bourbon has no price, and there is a tremendous amount of room left in the industry for unique things. A lot of the reason we came to West Virginia was because there are so few distilleries in West Virginia. So few on the distribution market that, you know, where the products are leaving the state. And so it was a really good choice to come where nobody is, at least, you know, geographically and to some extent across the state. There's very little other people operating in that space. So if you're looking at moving in the craft beverage industry, you can move into a crowded market and pay 5 or 10 times the amount of money to get into the market. And if you can get there, you probably get a lot of foot traffic and make a lot of money, but there's a lot of static in the air too.
Sure.
It's make it harder to shine, you know? And so we wanted to look for a place where we had the best opportunity to shine. And that's important when selecting a location if you want to do something like this. And look, we won Best Distillery in the state twice in a contest. We won Best Distillery in the Tri-State in another Now they're regionals, but man, it makes me feel good. You know what I mean? I'm
awesome,
tickled
yeah.
pink. And so we getting our little accolades going. We have not gone into spirit competition yet. I know there's some. They're asking us to maybe put a couple in.
Yeah.
I kind of look at that. I'm like, kind of pop. If I wanted, people wanted my product. You know, some of my small batch products, I wouldn't even be able to get it to them. We're looking at, but very soon we're going to go onto the e-commerce, and when we do that, we're going to start releasing some of our harder to find small batches, and I think they're going to get picked up real quick because there's so many. Like I said, 75% of the people that come in here, you know, we sit right on the Route 81 corridor. If you know anything about the East Coast, you got 95. You'll go to inland, you got 81, and so it's a big north-south connector. I get more snowbirds out of the Northeast than you can shake a stick at. Like, everybody is rolling down this way, and they want to come in. Maybe they're going to Florida. Yeah, maybe, you know, a lot of them, we're on our way to Kentucky. I see a lot of people doing that. But they're kind of moving up and down the coast to wherever their destination is, and they want to bring a good bottle of whiskey. I'll tell you what, I see a lot of those people come back. Oh, hey, you know, we're coming back down. We always stop in, you know, to say hi to you. That's my favorite, man.
That's so cool.
Wow, are you kidding me? You guys are drinking it up in New York City? In New York City? Out in Long Island? Up in Massachusetts? Pennsylvania? And they come in from the west from time to time. That Harper's Ferry, big national park, they get like 2 million visitors a year. That draws a lot of them in, and the ones that are staying for the weekend, a lot of them find their way over here because they're looking for something to do. And you can come over here and get a tasting. You get a great tour. A lot of them, they bring their friends back if they're, you know, in kind of within 100 miles of here.
Sure.
And so it's just really fun. It's been such a pleasure just to be able to connect with people, tell them stories. I always tell them, we don't sell whiskey around here. We sell joy around here. You come out, I guarantee you're going to be smiling. And it's a great way. It's just a great way to connect with people.
Let's look at this. So as a business owner, you have to transition into a leadership role. Now you guys, now was this something that just kind of came naturally to you? Or, you obviously still got to be learning, right?
Look, if you're in the Navy for 25 years, you're government trained to be, in a leadership role.
No.
And no matter what your journey is in the military, like the exposure is just gonna it changes you. You know what I mean? They always say, oh, you know, they sent him away to boot camp and he came back a man. And you know, I've how many young sailors did I see that with? You know, and watch them grow, and so it's, I won't say it comes naturally. You got to work at it. You know what I mean? But I'll say that the military trained me and gave me a lot of pointers, you know, and helped me out a lot. But yeah, captain my own little ship over here. Just, you know,
So your brother was
surrounded by woods and not water. No, he was in, but he was government contracting his whole life.
Okay.
A lot of computers there, yeah.
Okay.
So so me and him and the rest of the team, that's me and that's Brian Halbert, Ken Walker. He runs our graphic design department. Is responsible for the amazing label work we do. Our custom label program is, I mean, I always tell them, what do you want on the bottle? I'll give you anything you want. You know, hey, get in now, because hey, one day we might be too busy. But like the other guys, right. You know, yeah, you get a custom labels from some guys, and they give you a heat transfer sticker on the side. Mm-hmm. We give you the whole front label right now if you get in quick. Anything you know, oh, hey boys, anything you want, give me a call. I've been dying to do a military unit bottle for somebody. I've been dying to do it. I'm ready. We could do some amazing things for you guys. Just pick up the phone and give me a call. And man, we'll make all your hopes and dreams come true from over here, and provide you guys with just an amazing product. My son Ethan, he is operations manager. He runs the distillery now. You know, when you become a distillery owner, for a while, hey, you want to talk about it from a military standpoint, the strategic, the operational, and the tactical. When you're running something by the bootstrings, you're down there and you get to be tactical, but you got to very quickly get to the operational level because you got to run a distillery, you know. Mm-hmm. But man, when you're in the strategic level, you don't get to distill as much as you used to. Yeah. I don't want him to stick me in a padded cubicle. Well, I'm on the phone all day, you know. I'm an email ranger. Mm-hmm. I'm a PowerPoint ranger. Those are skills that, damn, you're going to get that in the military too. They're helpful. But I can put together one hell of a bourbon presentation.
There you go. I bet.
It's all, you know, it's all about talking the talk.
I mean, now in this role, what are you guys facing as far as from the leadership side? What is that different from the military?
Rephrase that. What do you mean?
So now being an owner operator, your leadership, are you still, what's different? I mean, how do you have to adjust into leadership?
You know what's so surprising about it? And this is kind of one of the greatest things that, you know, if you use a little ingenuity and a little imagination, not much. Like, if you're a military leader and you move into the business, military leaders make really good business leaders because now look, we have a certain structure around here. I try and keep a certain structure. It's not military structure, but like you know, we have staff meetings. You know, people have certain responsibilities. We say in the military, we wear a lot of hats. Man, if you're around here, you wear so many damn hats. Everybody does. It's small, but that's small business.
Yeah, that's true.
But what is the difference between the two? Very little. Like you come to work every day with a good work ethic. If you want something done, and you need to get everybody in gear, go start doing it. Everybody else will come help you. You know what I mean? Until you get to the point where you get them all trained to be able to do it themselves, and then you can start to go hands off, because that leader has got to have those people in place that if I got to get pallets upon pallets upon pallets of liquor out into a logistics stream to get to a ABC warehouse somewhere on a certain day, so that there can be a launch of that spirit and it's coordinated with a marketing campaign, I need certain things to be able to get done. And what we do is we build people here basically so I can stand on their shoulders. Mm-hmm. And that's what I do. They enable me they lift me up so that I can work in the strategic level where you got to go land contracts because the distillery has to make money. And but they've enabled me to do that, so we can operate now at a different level. I'm going to a big resort in the middle of West Virginia here soon, and I'm going to be running a tasting over there with them. And I'm going to be alongside. I'm going to be tasting alongside Smooth Ambler, and Jefferson's is going to be there, and the event is for the three of us. And like I'm so giddy about it because like, hey, my whiskey's going to be, standing up. The same people are going to be talking and tasting mine next to these. Smooth Ambler, biggest distillery in the state. Like, if you've ever watched those guys, I mean, their journey has been amazing. And they are making great whiskeys, and how they built their business and the way they built it is just really cool. I've always watched them. I want to be like Mike. You know what I mean? And so we learned some lessons from them. One's been pretty amazing to watch.
Is your team? I'm assuming is obviously growing as your yield is going up. But the team that you started this company with, I mean, are they all still here with you?
Yeah, most of them. We really, I mean, and there's not many of us here. I mean, we really run on a pretty small team. There's at most might be 7 to 9 people here.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes we operate, on the heavy side, especially during the busy times. In the industry, they call it OND, October, November, December. That's your bread and butter in the liquor industry. Mm-hmm. That's when all of America is getting together around the table, man. That's when the parties are happening. Yeah. And we sell Christmas presents. On Black Friday, I want the parking lot to look like Walmart. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Yeah. And want to make my heart sing, man. I want to see a line at the door. It's just, now when you get there, boys, that feels good. I bet. It really does. It's it's so hard to get feedback, in this world. Now we get a lot word of mouth, and we're learning how to get it. That's a really hard thing when you start a small business. It's figuring out ways to get feedback from the public. What's working. Having a tasting room, which is critical to a distillery, is so fantastic because you can field small projects up there. Yeah, I would say hey, look, man, I can sell 100 bottles of anything. You know what I mean? And so we throw ideas up there because everything we make is great. I mean, I got enough feedback from that I know it. But the things that are like, I watch the numbers. The things that are really taking off, hey, we need more of that cowbell up there. Everybody likes that. I got a new, I'm about to kick off a moonshine sampler pack in the state of West Virginia. If you're listening in West Virginia, look for this in your local liquor store. It's a 12-pack that the liquor store can buy. 3 bottles of cherry moonshine, 3 bottles of lemon drop, 3 bottles of pickle, 3 bottles of blackberry, our best-selling moonshines. And we got a multi-pack out there for the smaller stores. But cherry moonshine is the new one in there. Blackberry's my oldest. That's a bread and butter right there. Like everybody loves the flavor of blackberry jam with a kick on the back end, Our pickle moonshine tastes just like pickle juice. It really does too. It makes an amazing Bloody Mary. If you're going to eat one of those pickles, don't make any plans. And that's no joke. When you shake my lemon drop moonshine over ice and serve it in a sugar rimmed glass, they're going to ask for thirds. But this cherry, I'll use the word cola because I don't want to get in any trouble. But making a cherry cola, oh boy, amazing. I mean, it just, when you drink it, and look, the people that walk through your door as a small distillery, they're not all going to be bourbon drinkers. That's why I have a very strong line in flavored whiskeys. We do 4. A blackberry bourbon, because the damn blackberry moonshine's so good, I bourbon backed it too. And blackberry whiskeys right now, the craze over them if you're in the liquor markets. When Crown dropped, Blackberry Crown, like the liquor stores are buying it by the pallet. and they couldn't keep it in stock. There was a craze over it. We did pretty good. I'll never tell you I'm chipping into the Crown market because that's not going to happen. But that our maple whiskey we launched with first. It's a mainstay. Then we went into the root beer bourbon. We get that produced, the root beer produced up in Berkeley Springs, and then we bring it in and blend it with bourbon, and it tastes like a little root beer barrel candy with a bourbon finish. It's fantastic. And then our newest release was a project we did with my boys out in Morgantown at Ashbrook Liquors. Thank you guys so much. If you hear this, and my boys over at Whitehall Spirits in Fairmont, we did a project where we brought peaches grown in Romney, West Virginia, and soaked them in bourbon, made Romney peach bourbon, and sent a couple barrels out to them, kept one for ourselves, and the public has just loved that one. It was this really neat project we did with local liquor store, and we did it just for them. They came to us with an idea. Hell yeah, we can do that, man. Let's go sell some whiskey. You know what I mean? And we made this really cool product. Beautiful labels. Oh my God. And hard to get now. Real hard. You can only buy it in 2 places in West Virginia, and I'm not sure we even have any left here at this show. We might have a couple bottles left. Wow. When the peaches come back on the tree next fall, end of summer, that one for sure will be done again. It was a lovely one. Our cherry bounce, though, that's the one you're going to want to come here for. I released a couple cases of cherry bounce into the West Virginia market. You might still be able to find a bottle rolling around out there in some of the liquor stores. But in June, our local orchard, the cherries come on the tree. I do a 70-30 mix, sweet and sour. I brought in 400 pounds last time. We hand pitted every one. Let me tell you want to come for a great volunteer day? Come help me pit cherries. Yeah. The barrels get 100 pounds a barrel. And we let it sit until early November. It's our Black Friday release, the Cherry Bounce. We draw it out. The whiskey has a ruby color to it. And then I sweeten it slightly. And when I boil my sugar, I add the spices to the sugar to draw out the flavors. But I keep them in a spice bag because the spice is if you're going to start spicing whiskey, it's a very dangerous thing. And so we make this kind of just ever so slightly spiced sweetness that we add to it. And it's a Christmas spirit. I took it out of Martha Washington's recipe book, and that's a fact, Jack. He was the biggest distiller in the United States, and whenever he went anywhere, and I read his manifest, George traveled with an entourage, and so they had a manifest, because, when George don't travel just on a horse, you always get the pictures of George on a horse, but there's a big wagon behind him, I guarantee it, with all kinds of stuff in it, because traveling by horseback and wagon, you might have to camp out. George probably camped in style, I would imagine. But there was always cherry bounce in his manifest. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. And sure enough, Martha Washington wrote down the cookbook. And so we try to keep to the spirit of it. We use a wheat whiskey in ours. I find that wheat and cherries are just delicious together. And so it's become this very popular thing, and we release a very small amount every year because, man, you hand picked 400 pounds of cherries. You know what I mean? It's no small amount of work, and it's handmade the old-fashioned way. We use antique wheats in the wheat whiskey. The barrel aging is done, and then those whiskeys that we think are going to be ready in November, those are the ones we select, and however much we have is how much you get. Because I can only make so many barrels of wheat whiskey every year. And that release is always so much fun. Everybody looks forward to it. Everybody's drinking cherry bounce around here at Christmas time, and we serve it like whiskey. It's always somewhere between 90 and 100 proof. This is one to be sipped and savored. But you put it in an old-fashioned, oh man, come on, the cherry flavor's already in there. It makes a mean one. You back it with some. I like to back it with orange. All right, my favorite old fashioned, and then I want to hear yours after this. But here's mine. You take that sugar and you grind up that orange, that orange zest that you peeled off down there, and that sugar with orange bitters. I even put a couple drops of cherry juice in there because after the cherries come out of the barrel, I have them repacked in syrup. and canned, and then we use them for cocktail cherries all year. But you get it. You really do a good muddling of that of the bitters, the sugar, and the orange. Maybe even if you want a little extra cherry in there. Then you add your cherry bounce in there. Garnish it with a couple of bourbon cherries. It is unique. It's got all the Christmas flavors in it. And so it's this like really beautiful spin on an old fashioned. We sell a lot of those at Christmas. Like, man, it's a good one. And what's your ideal, man? What's your ideal?
I'll tell you what, I am really not much of a mixed cocktail guy. I do try to, most of the whiskeys I drink are neat. Trying to get in there, but I have a buddy here that's a small craft distillery, does oat whiskeys, and he came from New York.
Oh, really?
A Michelin star chef, and so he has all these ideas, right? And he can make.
Do all his distillers say "yes, chef" in the background? When I bet that's amazing. I'd love to try his oat whiskey.
He's he's his Dovetail Distillery here in Mountain House in Nevada, and
no way.
He has kind of like the same kind of mentality. I think that you're thinking is there's not everybody is a whiskey drinker, and to try to what he wants to do is he tries to pair. He creates a dish, and then he tries to make a drink that would go with that dish using his oat whiskey. And so I think he's kind of on a similar page as you, and I think that is probably one of the most unique experiences I've ever had in the whiskey world. But other than that, I enjoy getting back to, like you were saying earlier, a good label. I look for, try to find something that's in, obviously in the price range. And then I look to, I try to find something small. I try to find those craft distilleries and see what the different flavors that are coming out of those.
I sell whiskey for a living. And to do that with a public that has such a wide variety of tastes. That's why we make moonshine. Well, we make moonshine because, man, we're a moonshine country. I'm making apple pie. I don't even distribute the apple pie because we have to grind and press the apples in house. And it's a lot of work. Putting that out commercially doesn't make any sense. But, man, we sell a lot of apple pie moonshine in the fall because it's made from local apples. I make when I make my apple pie spice, I have a very specific proprietary blend of spices, I call it, that soaks in corn whiskey until the corn whiskey turns black. And then I remove the spice pack because then I can, because using an extract is so much more beneficial to flavoring than you put a cinnamon stick in every jar of apple pie moonshine and you have cinnamon whiskey in about, 3 weeks. You don't have apple pie moonshine. So we make those adjustments like that. But similarly, I sell a lot of flavored whiskeys and really fun flavors too, because not everybody that comes through the door likes bourbon. Some people want to come through the door and they want to try it and they want to like it. And then you have, now look, when you get to the bourbon guys and gals, that we just separate them out. I have a very special lineup for them because we're Bourbon House, but everybody likes whiskey. And so we put a cocktail menu in. We do the classics. I can make you an old fashioned my way, right? I can make it according to the books. Come ask for mine sometime. I put some cool spins on it. Everybody's got a little spin on it. We make a good Manhattan. We have an orange crush bar with our vodka. We call it the crush bar because we'll make an orange one, whatever fruit we got, lime. But the Greyhounds, a ruby red on the Greyhound, right? Fresh squeezed if I got them that day. And the vodka, simple. You want to make a salty dog though, sugar and salt rim on that thing. White grapefruit is my favorite. I love bitter. You know what I mean? So I love people to try, and even my small batch to try in cocktails. I get guys, they'll come in, they want it neat, and they will literally one nostril in the glass because they want to understand it. And I got it, man. I can serve you a tasting that'll knock your socks off. But their friends that come with them, maybe they don't. You know what I mean? I mean, I want to try bourbon. It's pretty strong. Hey, try the root beer bourbon. Mm-hmm. Right? It's got that. It's like a bourbon barrel candy with a bourbon finish on it. Root beer barrel candy. It takes ice cream like a champion. Oh my God! You put a little. I always say, get a melon baller. little melon ball vanilla ice cream bomb there, and just pour the root beer on top on the shot glass. Man, that bottle will evaporate at your party because, oh my God, does it taste good, you know? Making, doing those cherry colas. So we try and do the real simple ones because everybody has this stuff at their house. That's what makes a classic a classic. Is it in your refrigerator? Mm-hmm. Does it taste delicious? Well, that's how it became a classic. It's 2 ingredients. It's 3 ingredients. It's at your house. And people love that. And they love to experience it. And then, we'll come and we'll teach you how to make them. Well, everything's hand pressed. Everything's done by hand. So they're seeing how they're made. And a lot of times they're probably going, hey, honey, we could do that this Saturday for our friends when they're coming over because we got all right. We got to go buy a bottle of bitters. I don't have one in the liquor bar, And so for the people that have a small liquor bar, we can show them, hey, look, our products can shine and all. You don't just have to drink it neat. I'm a bourbon guy. If you had to ask me my favorite, I love wheated bourbons from across the bourbon world. There's something about wheat that provides us this extra layer of viscosity. It's almost like it goes creamy across the palate. Man, that's right up my alley. Mm-hmm. Don't get me wrong, I love rye bourbons. My high rye has a floral note in it that sometimes I even get from the wheat. You ever have a bottle of Antique 107? It smells like a damn bouquet of flowers. It's got the most amazing floral note to it. Some of my wheated bourbons, every once in a while I pick up that note in a barrel and I'm like, oh man, I got to figure this out. Like it's generational. It's a lifetime of work to figure out how do you get that in every barrel. Uh-huh. How's Blanton's so sweet? I swear they put sugar in it, man. How is it so amazing? How you guys do that, right? That takes that you ain't gonna get that secret. No. When you ask them for that one, you got to go figure it out on your own, and that's what we're doing over here. We're trying to figure out how to connect with those bourbon lovers because I want to give the people the business that have a meager small liquor cabinet at home, but hey, they're energized about the products. But I want to. There's guys, like I said, there's guys that have whiskey hoards. And I want to be on their radar. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And because bourbon is one of those things in the United States. It's for everybody. Bottom shelf, top shelf, rich, poor, everybody in between has always sell it. When the market's up, boys, let's crack a bottle of bourbon. Yep. When it's down, we're going to sob into our glass. It's going to be the same bottle, though. You know what I mean? And so it's a really good industry.
A little bit earlier about the market kind of, cooling a little bit. How are you guys feeling that crunch at all? Or, I mean, it sounds like you guys,
everybody is. Look at the big boys. I heard a big guy shutting down production for a whole year. What are you? Right. Man, now look, I don't even operate in that atmosphere. Like they're so far in the stratosphere above me. In some ways, the small guys, we don't have big boy problems, but certainly shit rolls downhill. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, it's an impact. We sell a luxury item, and when eggs are expensive, what's the first thing you cut, man? Right. You know what I mean? And so, it hurts. The American people got to take care of the American people. Family first, and so, it becomes harder. The market space is crowding. And so you really have to find a way to set yourself off as the unique. And let me tell you, right now, if you like us, there's only one, for some of the really small batch stuff, there's only one place you can get it, and so that helps. And it's about strengthening your brand. But I can't remember that big guy, one of the big market traders, when the market's up, he's doing one thing, but when it's down, that's his buy time because you're getting in there. You know what I mean? Like we are looking at expanding now, even in the face of that, which is the bourbon industry is fraught with risk, tremendous amounts, but we have to grow. Even and how do you do? We had to open during COVID. That was hard. We did it, and we have to grow in a market that's facing headwinds.
Yeah.
across the board.
Sure.
And so if you go into this market, not only is the cost of entry enormous, but it's fraught with risk. And so, like, you've really got to be on the ball in it. And it's hard to do. You're doing it on the everyday. And strike your work family life balance.
Yeah. That's it.
We close at 5:00. What hell, man? We're here at 6 in the morning getting the still started. Like, we're a day joint.
Yeah.
The older I get, nothing good happens after dark anyway. Especially when you add alcohol. You know what I mean? Like,
that is very true.
I'm not interested in being a nightclub owner. I'm interested in being a bourbon maker.
Uh-huh.
And so I've always kind of thought that, we can make a whole lot more money if we turn it into a nightclub. A lot of distilleries do it. And a lot of them get really, get their fame that way.
Huh.
And so we'll see. We're steering that ship around the rocks right now. Because right now it's rocky out there.
Yeah. Let's talk about that on the work-life balance.
The weather's warming up.
That is kind of important. You're when you close at night, when you guys go home, I mean, you try to unload that weight that I think being a small business owner that you do. Like you talked about fishing. I mean, are you still, when you're out there fishing, is it the gears are still turning? You're out there trying to think of the next big thing? Are you able to
when I worked for the government all those years, I had there were certain things that you just weren't allowed to talk about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I developed a switch that, when you go home, you turn it off, and it's really kind of beneficial to you. Although, that we do, of course, me and the family, we have chats about things. But I really try and flip that switch off because, man, I'm raising a family too. We all are. We all got our families, and you need to be able to go home, and you need to be able to be fully engaged in your family life. And yes, they're gonna cross. But this weekend, we're going for a hike. We're gonna take the kids out and do something. You know what I mean? Like, and you gotta avoid, or it will consume you.
Yeah.
And I'm not interested in that either.
Mm-hmm.
And
you have built this a legacy, right? Now you were saying in the beginning of the show that you have your son works there, and you're trying to get you have 3 boys or just the 2?
My brother's got 2. I got 3. We have 5 boys in between us, and we
okay.
And hey, it's looking pretty good. Like, if you're going to go into the craft beverage industry and you open a distillery, it's not something you get to just do and then wrap it up at the end of your career. Mm-hmm. They're not built like that.
Right.
I mean, look, they don't use oak barrels anymore anywhere. Once the invention of polyethylene came around, that was gone. You know what I mean? And these things take time. And if you ever want to be anything in this, well, there's a couple ways you can do it. You can become the next great thing that fires like a rocket up to the moon. That happens. But if you're counting on that, then you're probably going to have some problems.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Unless you have a whole lot of money. If I had $1 million, I'd spend $950,000 on marketing, and my whiskey'd be everywhere, and everybody'd be drinking it. You know what I mean? Like, but if you're ex-military guys, you got what you got, and yeah, there's different brands ex-military guys too. Hell, some of them, but you got it. We do from the bootstraps, and we start and we build it, and just like the really old distilleries, they're generational. And so if we want a shot at it, we have to at least make a run at trying to become a generational distillery, something that gets passed down. I'm 50, man. They say a distiller has one shot at a 15-year-old. That's because they got to make one. Then they got to wait 15 years and taste it. And then you make your changes for your masterpiece. And then you lay that down. And let me tell you, after 30 years, what are you? Done, right?
Right.
Like, the human life is only so long. Mm-hmm. I don't have a shot at a 15-year-old. But I think my son might.
Yeah.
Maybe. You know what I mean? To get to get to the point where we're selling 4-year-old is great. We got to sell the 4-year-old though. I mean, in order to even get to the point where we can have the luxury of having so much whiskey that we could keep some aside and sell for 6.
Yeah.
Let alone, what do you mean, a 10-year-old? I don't even know if I got time for a 10-year-old in this life. Maybe.
I hope.
Come on. Yeah. Well, just think about that. There are whiskeys out there. Look at the big ones, 30-year-olds. Mm-hmm. I mean, older than that. The people that made those, some of them are dead.
I'm sure.
You know what I mean? Like you never even make it to the really old ones, and the good ones. The amount of knowledge, it had to be passed down by tradition. Mm-hmm. The amount of knowledge that had to go into that was, in some cases, is hundreds of years old. They're always asking me, how's AI going to impact your business? I'm waiting for somebody to answer that question. It's actually kind of frightening.
Yeah.
Can it overcome the amount of tradition and proprietary knowledge that's woven into this? AI learns from what's available. A lot of those things, like, can it fit? What if it figures it out? Mm-hmm. Man, we're in deep shit, right? Mm-hmm. Like, can it? But if you want to talk, just to hit on that real quick, I'm also looking for ways that it can help me, and trying to find those, because they're flashing all the signals at the top. If you don't figure it out, you're toast, because it's coming. So we better figure that out. I know the big boys are. They're investing money in how AI, what AI will do to bourbon, how it will affect it. What's that look like? Right. Yeah. Nobody even knows yet, man. No. The future of bourbon is fraught with danger. Anything could happen. Hell, I mean, we could be 10 years away. You know how the winds have changed blowing this country. We could be 10 years away from prohibition and not even know it. Sure. It happened once before, and aren't we doomed to make our do the same things over and over and over again in this world? Yeah. So there's no it's a cloudy outlook when it comes to that, but what I can tell you is over time it's had its ups and downs, but it's always maintained. It's bourbon has always been part of the American experience. Hell, I mean, you got to go back a lot farther than that. Like, alcohol has always been part of the human experience. Mm-hmm. And it can get beat up and kicked around for this reason or that. Probably has throughout history, and we don't even know it. You know what I mean? Like, nobody ever probably wrote it down. Mm-hmm. And lots of things can impact drinking habits. But it's really hard. I always see Dry January, and I was like, God, come on, guys, really? Like, it's like you guys treat Dry January just like you treat going to the gym. Like, you're gonna, for the first 3 weeks of the year, the local gyms, the people who are at the gym hate it. You know what I mean? Because they're jammed up, and then it's gone. You get a couple of weeks, then you're like, God, man, it's the end of the day again, and one on the rocks sure would taste good because it's been a shitty week. Yeah. and then we get over that. And then we go back to alcohol is part of the human experience. Stop, guys. Like, everyone is always going to want that until they release that, I don't know, whatever, you see all the science fiction movies, whatever that designer thing is that everybody wants. Will it ever overcome bourbon? I don't know. I think we got a pretty good shot. Yeah, there's my forecast. I think bourbon's going to be strong in the market, at least for many more lifetimes. Yeah.
It's very good. Well, I know you're a busy man. I know you got a lot going on there, Wylie, and I just wanted to, give you an opportunity to, at this point, let everybody know how to find you, what you got coming up, any keynotes you want to talk about before we go.
If you guys are around the East Coast, some of you guys got to travel into the D.C., Baltimore region. We're closer than you think out there. Hop in the rental car if you're coming from far away and swing out and see us. It's just a great, especially as the weather warms up, it's lovely. But in the wintertime, when the snow's on the ground around here, the country roads are beautiful. The bed and breakfasts are calling your name, and the people are really nice. Come out, grab a bottle, stay for the weekend, go see Harper's Ferry, go over to Antietam, and hey, you can even drive the battlefield if you don't feel like walking it. It's one of the most beautiful things you ever saw. But if you come out here in the summer and enjoy the Shenandoah and the Potomac, we're upstream from that nightmare that's going on down, in D.C. The water's clean. The smallmouth bass are rocking. There's more than enough white-tailed deer for all of us out here. If you want to talk about ballistics a little bit, the hunting opportunities, the fishing opportunities, the outdoor recreation opportunities in the greater West Virginia are so massive, and nobody even knows. You know, there's 4 million acres of national forest down there. It's yours. You own it. I own it. You can go in there and do whatever you want. Hell, you can get up deep enough in the holler in national forest and run around naked if you want to. Nobody's going to see. Like, you can go camping. You can go bear hunting if you want. Them boys run. I've seen it, man. They run hounds down there. The fowl hunting is amazing here. There are opportunities for that. The trout fishing on the East Coast is legendary. There's several blue ribbon trophy streams in the state, and I mean, you get down to some of those places that the raw. We're still 73% forested. The raw beauty of the greater West Virginia is just unbelievable, and we sit right at the gateway, right here in the Eastern Panhandle. As you come in, and then you go to all points, north, south, and east, and west. And it's nothing but the most beautiful country roads you ever saw. So if you're out here, come check us out. You get an amazing experience. Try the cocktail. Try the tasting. If you're lucky enough, come ask us for to do the whiskey thief, and maybe one of the distillers will bring you back and get you a taste out of the barrel. And then you can get a bottle of one of our cask strengths. Right now we're running a wheated bourbon, our 4-grain bourbon, our high rye bourbon, and one of our signatures. There's only 2 barrels. It's our twin malt. We had the rye locally malted. It's bourbon. It drinks like bourbon. It's lovely, but you got chocolate and leather or chocolate and coffee notes in there rather that are going to come right through on your palate, and you're going to go, "This is different." And it's 125 coming out of the barrel right now. Drinks like a 105, I guarantee it. It's good, man. You roll some rocks on it, it's amazing. But guess what? They make amazing old fashions. Like for your cocktail people, they're amazing because you're going to get different flavors. Not better, different. You'll get the unique flavors of Jefferson County. In Jefferson County, West Virginia is where we're at. That's where all our grains are grown. And I'll tell you what, you could open a distillery down the street and you could try and make the same thing. It would just taste different just because not only are you getting the flavor of the land, but you're getting how we made it. And how we make it is unique. It's small batch. How many distillers have you talked to if we did sit down and I told you how we mash it, how we ferment it, how we distill it, how we barrel it, what all the selections were? We'd all be different. Mm-hmm. Everybody. I run a column still. Some guys run a pot still. We column distill in a very, very specific way, and we ferment in a very, very specific way. And anyone who changes any of those criteria will come out with something that tastes different. Yeah. It's like a butterfly's wings. Mm-hmm. So we have our own unique flavor, and the whiskeys are pretty damn good. Mm-hmm. Like we're getting the feedback. People are enjoying them, and so if you're out, we're out here in Kearneysville. We're near Harper's Ferry in Antietam, 6 miles from Virginia, 9 miles from Maryland, 22 miles from Pennsylvania. Ohio's a stretch, but I'm telling you, the drive from Ohio over here is amazing. Take 50. It's straight up, it's straight down, it's left, it's right, and it's one of the most beautiful drives you'll ever drive if you got the time, you know what I mean? And that's what people need to do is they need to realize, slow down, take the country road, get there the back way, use a map. Oh boy. Can any of you read a map? You want to talk about fun? You're going to go through some cool little towns on the way. Maybe you'll end up here and you'll try some really amazing whiskeys. Keep an eye out for us, man. We want to be an up-and-comer out there. It'll take me a long way to get out as far as you guys, or a long time, rather. But who knows? Maybe one day you'll be buying me in your local liquor store.
I do hope so. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And for those of us that aren't out your way, where do we find you on the internet?
Yeah, sure. So Devil's Due Distillery is on Facebook and Instagram. If you really want to follow us on those, you'll see our releases. You'll see the events that we're having if you ever want to come by. Of course, you can go to devilsduedistillery.com, check out our website. You can see a note. We have an apostrophe after our S. Just take that out. But then you can see some really great pictures of the distillery. You can see some pictures of some of the products that we have up on there. Not for sale yet online, but coming. Okay. If you're in Maryland, West Virginia, and Virginia, and you go to one of your local liquor stores, there's a good chance you'll find us. If they don't carry us, tell them to give me a call. Mm-hmm. Then all those guys know how to get a hold of me. I got a distributor in all those states. Every once in a while, we pop up in North Carolina. You can find us sometimes out in Myrtle Beach. So we got a little bit down there. It's really hard, North Carolina and South Carolina, they're so far away for me to get down there. You know, we're so small, but we've got a couple things down there. We do some in and outs every year for fun. We're looking at, our eyes are moving north, looking at maybe Pennsylvania. So I'm hoping all my friends up there will soon have an opportunity maybe to take a ball of us up there. Of course, my dad's out in Delaware. I sure would like to be out there one day. In Jersey, my sister's in Jersey. I sure would like to be up there one day. But for now, they got to touch because I have a lot more control over states of touch. And we got to experience some growth there. But yeah, check us out in the local liquor store. Hopefully, you're going to be able to see us online. Check out our social media. We do pretty good. A lot of photography, a lot of cool graphic design. We got a lot of great art that runs in and out of there. And if you're ever in the area, I guarantee you a good time.
Well, Wylie, thank you for taking the time to sit down with me today.
Yes,
I
sir.
really do appreciate it. And you can find me, Joel Potter, Bourbon Ballistics, and all the socials right there. And I guess with that being said, I mean, I do hope to make it out your way one day, Wylie, and see what you got going on there. So thank you for your time.
Yes, sir. Hey, thank you so much. You have a great one.
You too. Thank you.
Later, gents. Bye-bye.
I cross state lines with hillbillies and guns.